After a car crash, I lost all my memories. Ethan Alexander, my sworn enemy, had his family draw lots for a bride, and I was the unfortunate pick. Naively, I accepted the marriage. On our wedding night, a maid from the Alexander family was assaulted at a hotel and jumped to her death. When Ethan got the call, he calmly hung up and resumed our bridal night without a flicker of emotion. Our days seemed peaceful, until the day I gave birth. As the agony of labor tore through me, he tied me to a chair. Faking amnesia? Marrying into the Alexander family? Setting someone up to humiliate Vanessa Simmons? Ethan gripped my chin and sneered, Luna Everly, you make me sick. Oh, and just now, your family went bankrupt. Your parents jumped. I watched myself bleed out, breath fading, overwhelmed by pain and despair. His hatred was real. He left my body in the wilderness, for wild animals to consume. My soul lingered. Then, I opened my eyes, back on the day of the crash. By my hospital bed, Mrs. Alexander smiled warmly. Luna, you and Ethan have always bickered since childhood. You're perfect for each other. I threw off the covers, revealing a shirtless male model with fair skin and sculpted abs beside me. Excuse me, Auntie, I said coolly. He and I, a perfect match. You, shameless. Mrs. Alexander trembled with rage at the sight. She stormed out, slamming the door. I tapped my fingers lightly on the bed's edge. My first act after being reborn? I had my assistant bring in a male model. Relax, boss, he winked. I'll make it look more real than the real deal. Suddenly, the door flew open. Ethan barged in with Vanessa. His eyes landed on the man in my bed, dark with fury. What did you say to my mom to piss her off like that? You've been pulling stunts just to get my attention, he sneered. Too bad. I like women who know how to behave. I met his eyes calmly. Who are you? Sorry, I was in a crash. I don't remember a thing. Still faking? Ethan grabbed my chin. You're terrible at this. Just like before, I threw the covers back. The male model stretched lazily, smirking at him. Ethan's pupils contracted, then he slapped me hard. You bitch. Mr. Alexander, Vanessa cooed. Miss Everly is so wild. If she really joined your family, who knows what scandal she'd stir up. I wiped the blood from my lip. Who said I wanted to marry into your family? Who do you think you are? Still pretending? Ethan gripped my wrist. You've chased me for years just to get noticed. I yanked my arm free, spitting every word. I won't marry you. He scoffed, still acting all high and mighty. Even if you were lying here naked, I wouldn't touch you. I like women who are gentle. He glanced at Vanessa. She blushed. I yawned. Finished? I need sleep. Doors that way. Ethan's veins bulged. Fine. Keep acting. When you crawl to me begging, don't expect mercy. Bang. The door slammed shut. The moment it did, Vanessa turned back to flash me a smug, victorious smile. After everyone had left, I took out the envelope I'd prepared and handed it to the male model. Thanks for your hard work. I've doubled your pay. He accepted the money, then suddenly leaned in, his towering 190 centimeters frame radiating quiet dominance. Ms. Everly, feel free to call me anytime if you need help. As the ward door clicked shut, I let out a long breath. Sunlight streamed in through the window. I inhaled deeply. The air reeked of disinfectant, but it was the scent of life. In my past life, it was in this very hospital room that I signed the marriage agreement while struggling with memory loss. I even personally handed my Everly group shares to Ethan. This time, I won't make the same mistake. My phone vibrated unexpectedly. I answered. Luna, my mother's voice was cautious and probing. The Foster family from Sterling Heights visited today. They want to marry into our family. Would you reconsider? I clutched the phone tightly. She had brought this up in my previous life, but I had turned it down without hesitation. Mom knows you were crazy about that Alexander boy, but arranged marriages rarely work. I just want you to find someone better. Who said I liked Ethan? I laughed. Mom, I was always competing with him, for the company's sake. My mother paused, clearly surprised. I'll accept the Foster family's proposal, I replied calmly. They're strict, principled, and the most suitable match. Really? My mother's voice brightened instantly. The Foster family's eldest son may be cold, but he's still far better than that Alexander brat. I'll tell your father now. After hanging up, I stared blankly at the ceiling. The Foster family was indeed the wiser choice. Not only were they powerful and deeply rooted in Beijing, but in my past life, they were the only ones who stood by the Everly group despite pressure from the Alexander family. Before my mother's birthday, I went to a prestigious auction alone. As soon as I entered, I saw Ethan with his arm wrapped around Vanessa's waist, the two of them cozy and affectionate. Vanessa's eyes landed on my limited edition suit, and a flash of envy flickered through them. Interesting. Ethan raised a brow. You stalking me now? Don't flatter yourself. It's just coincidence. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. Enough with the hard to get act, he whispered. Think that'll catch my attention? I yanked my hand free. Mr. Alexander flatters himself too much. Once the auction started, Vanessa deliberately bid on anything I showed interest in. Ethan took it further, tripling the offers. 5 million. He shot me a smug look. Miss Everly, care to go higher? Gasps echoed through the hall. That antique vase wasn't even worth 2 million. I gently laid down my number card and rose to leave. Then a message popped up on my phone. If you want to be Mrs. Alexander, start by being humble. You're not even good enough to be my mistress right now. I stared at it for 2 seconds, then blocked the number for good. But just 3 days later, I ran into Ethan again, this time at the mall. Vanessa's eyes lit up when she saw the shoes in my hand. Ethan noticed immediately, wrapped his arm around her, and said, Vanessa, want them? I'll buy them for you. The store clerk then interjected, Sir, I'm sorry, that pair is a limited edition. Miss Everly pre-ordered it 3 months ago. It's the only one left in the city. I said. Ethan raised his voice suddenly, eyes locked on the clerk. I want those shoes. Now. I slapped my black card on the counter. First come, first served. Doesn't Mr. Alexander understand basic manners? Ethan grabbed my wrist with a bruising grip. Luna, are you really set on opposing me? His voice dropped low. The more you act out, the more pathetic you look. If you want to marry me, just say it. What's with all these games? I yanked my hand back. You overestimate yourself. Then to the clerk, please wrap them up. I'll take them. The clerk accepted my card hesitantly, and Ethan's expression turned stormy. Vanessa quickly clung to his arm. Ethan, forget it. I don't want them. No. Ethan snatched the shoebox from the clerk. In Southvale, there's nothing Ethan can't get. With that, he dragged Vanessa away without a glance back. The next morning, an elegant gift box appeared on my desk. As soon as I untied the ribbon, a sickening, metallic smell hit me. The red high heels were stained with suspicious marks, a few strands of hair clinging to the soles. My phone buzzed. A message from Vanessa lit up the screen. Ms. Everly, I've thought it over. I can't take what doesn't belong to me. I'm returning the shoes. Sorry, they got dirty while I was dancing with Ethan last night. Stifling my nausea, I dumped the heels straight into the trash. Just then, a message from my mother popped up. Luna, the Foster family's betrothal gift list is unbelievable. I opened the attachment and gasped. The listed value could buy 3 entire Everly groups. Usually discreet and reserved, the Foster family had made an exception for me, showing sincerity beyond imagination. The rare treasures alone proved how serious they were. At the annual Southvale business dinner, I mingled with a group of socialites, exchanging light laughter. Suddenly, the hall doors flung open. Vanessa strutted in wearing a blinding sequin dress and an oversized diamond necklace. Whispers erupted around us. Oh my god, what is she wearing? So flashy. Wasn't she a maid in the Alexander household? Now she's Mr. Alexander's assistant? I've seen her type before, always pushing their luck. Vanessa remained unfazed, walking directly toward me. Ms. Everly, she called loudly, why aren't you wearing those limited edition heels? I took a sip of wine and replied coolly, oh, they got touched by something filthy, so I threw them out. She stiffened, then sneered. Miss Everly, just wait. You'll never beat me. Before she could finish, she stumbled backward. The champagne tower crashed down, glass flying in every direction. Ah, she shrieked, instantly drawing all eyes. Before I could move, Ethan rushed in and shoved me hard. I staggered back, pressing my hand onto shattered glass. Blood gushed instantly. Luna, he yelled, holding the trembling Vanessa. His eyes were sharp as knives. What the hell are you doing? Vanessa sobbed in his arms. It's my fault. I shouldn't have shown up and upset Miss Everly. She said I'm beneath her. Apologize, Ethan ordered coldly. Clutching my bleeding hand, I hissed, why? Without warning, he reached out and tore the jade pendant from my neck, the only keepsake my grandmother left me. No, I lunged forward to stop him. Bang, he hurled the pendant to the floor, shattering it into pieces. Next time, he said, lifting Vanessa into his arms and glaring down at me, you won't get off so easily. I clenched my fists. For the next week, entertainment headlines were flooded with photos of Ethan shopping with Vanessa. I pretended not to notice. Late at night, while working overtime at the office, the door suddenly burst open with a loud kick. Before I could even look up, a cold hand wrapped around my throat. Vanessa dropped to her knees, tears in her voice. Ms. Everly, my parents are just regular workers. Please, have mercy. She held up her phone. On the screen, a bloodied middle-aged couple knelt and cowed out on camera. Ms. Everly, please forgive us. Our daughter would never dare fight you over young Master Alexander. Ethan snatched the phone, eyes blazing with fury. Luna, you've gone insane. You actually sent people to beat up Vanessa's parents? I don't even know them. I stared at Vanessa coldly. That's quite the performance. Still denying it? Ethan slammed the phone down. The couple on screen began slapping themselves. They called your name while begging. I took a steady breath. I didn't do this. Vanessa lunged forward and grabbed my wrist. Miss Everly, my parents are still in the hospital. They've lived honest lives. How could they? Enough. I flung her hand off. If you want to frame me, at least make up a believable story. You disgust me, Luna, Ethan said coldly. If you really want to be my woman, you shouldn't pull something so vile. Take her away. 4 bodyguards surrounded me instantly, wrenching my arms with brutal force. I was dragged out as Vanessa wept behind me. Mr. Alexander, my parents. They threw me down on the cold tiles of the ancestral hall, bruising my knees. Ethan tossed an equity transfer form in front of me. Sign it. Transfer 80% of your shares to Vanessa. Not a chance. I clenched my jaw. Over my dead body. Vanessa put on a false front. Mr. Alexander, Miss Everly always looked down on people like me. How about? Ethan slammed me on the floor. Weren't you ruthless enough to attack someone's parents? He forced my fingers open and pressed them on the ink pad. Sign it. Today, whether you want to or not. I was locked inside the ancestral hall. 3 days later, the doors finally opened. I thought I was being released, but Vanessa entered alone. Mr. Alexander said you can leave, she said, her voice echoing in the quiet hall. I lifted my head weakly, only to meet her bitter glare. She calmly untied the ropes, then suddenly shoved me to the ground. A harsh, stinging odor filled my nostrils. What are you doing? I gasped, eyes wide as she flicked a lighter. My voice trembled. She smirked. Shouldn't Miss Everly disappear already? Let me give you a quick death, so you'll stop clinging to Mr. Alexander. The moment the lighter hit the floor, flames burst into life. I let out a gut-wrenching scream, loud enough for Ethan to hear from outside. What's happening? He ran in, stunned by the inferno raging before him. Vanessa turned quickly. Mr. Alexander, Miss Everly said if she can't have you, she'll destroy you. She's trying to burn down the ancestral hall. Ethan's furious roar echoed through the flames. Put out the fire. What are you all standing around for? The fire raged higher, waves of heat warping the air. Just then, several armored vehicles crashed through the Alexander family gates, engines roaring and shaking the ground. Through the smoke, a man strode forward, his black coat singed by flames. Behind him, 2 lines of heavily armed bodyguards quickly seized control of the courtyard. His voice was ice cold. Where's Luna? Ethan's expression twisted. Why you? The man didn't spare him a glance, charging straight into the inferno. His team moved with precision, subduing the flames in moments. He emerged, carrying me in his arms. Blood smeared his expensive suit, but he held me as if I were made of glass.